So over the past couple of days, or maybe let's say for about like a week or so, a lot of people called me out on my BS. They said that I sold out. How dare you make that much of a gripe and whine about sports gambling? And here you are being sponsored by Kalshi. You took a Kalshi bag, so you know you just sold out. You sold out. Right? To the people who asked me that question, and from what I did my research on, is that Kalshi presented themselves as a peer-to-peer entity, not like you're putting money against the house. And from my POV, I don't consider it the same degree of gambling, and the way in which they kind of presented themselves was more of an open market rather than like an actual gambling site. So for those who are on playback, y'all might remember maybe a few days after I uploaded that video on my Nikola Jokic video, we came in here, had a conversation, a powwow, and Staffa, who's on stage right now, he called me out for my BS and he challenged my ideology. Long story short, in that conversation, as I was trying to defend my stance, Staffa brought up a really good point about a lot of things that Kalshi does is very similar to other companies. And then he cross-referenced some of the odds on Kalshi in contrast to a lot of other companies out there like Underdog and DraftKings, et cetera, and he found that the odds were the exact same, even in the middle of the game. So then, before we continue, Thank you, Staffa.
You're welcome. I had to look out for you. Sometimes, I gotta be out there and help you out, but they try to get you, man. They really did try to get you.
They try to get me, man. They try to get me.
No, I'm not gonna run my laps, guys. I'm not gonna run my laps. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna take the humble victory right here.
The humble
just had to help you. Just had to help you out.
So I appreciate that to you, Staffa. Just so in full transparency, just so people can know, I'm not gonna tell y'all the entire conversation, but I am gonna tell you after we had this conversation, I did my own research as well to double back on what Staffa was telling me, and I confirmed that what Staffa's findings were true. That the odds, the quote-unquote odds that they had were the exact same from what they were normally handing out. So once we came to that conclusion, I informed Raquel to let them know that we would move on. We were no longer going to be participating in Kalshi. Hello, I regret to inform you of this on such short notice, but Marcel discovered that Kalshi is also a what is that?
Do you want me to read this for you?
Is that conversational?
No, conventional.
Oh, okay. But recently, Marcel discovered that Kalshi is a conventional betting application. Consequently, due to his
Consequently.
First of all, let me be clear.
This shit was made through AI. There's no way.
Exactly. And I was just about to say that because Raquel does not talk like this. Raquel does not talk like that. So let's get that out of the fucking way. Long story short, we decided to cut the Kalshi on which call because we found out that it is gambling, and I wanted to terminate the partnership. This was 8 days ago, November 21st. Y'all who are here in streaming right now, y'all know this already because this is something that we did in real time. So this is nothing new to you all. But for the people out there who are, passively watching me but don't know where exactly the update is with everything who are asking me in my comment section, that is the update. We've already canceled it. Everything is already done. However, since then, there has now been new news that has been brought to our attention about our friends over at Kalshi because now they are being sued. Kalshi is being sued. My, oh my. How crazy this does work. So, Kalshi has been hit with a nationwide class action lawsuit in the SDNY for operating an illegal online sports betting platform and for duping customers into believing that they are legally gambling against other customers when they actually are gambling against the house. So quite literally the thing that Staffa was arguing, literally the thing he brought to my attention, come to find out that's literally what they're being sued for. And based off of the research that Staffa did and then even what I did behind the scenes, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a lawyer, but it certainly comes across as exactly what's going on. So there's that. So Staffa, again, shout out to Staffa. He sniffed it out. We canceled it, and come to find out, literally 8 days later, it came out that there's now a lawsuit. And what's even crazier is that in the lawsuit, literally the exact same thing Staffa did, that's literally what they're being claimed for. But customers on Kalshi do not only bet against each other, they also bet against the house. Kalshi engages in house betting. The wagers available to Kalshi's customers are indistinguishable from those offers in casino sports books, and other gambling establishments. A side-by-side comparison between FanDuel, a sports book, and Kalshi shows both offering identical bets on a football game. FanDuel is on the left, Kalshi is on the right. Both offer bets on with a baseline spread of Dallas winning by 2.5 points and a baseline over and under of 4.75 total points. So as you can clearly see, this is literally the exact thing that we were arguing about a week ago. Full transparency, as many of you all know, I was in negotiations to figure out where exactly a price point for me was in the space. So I wanted to see, hey, how much should I be asking in some negotiations? So I went into a meeting with an ongoing brand that was also gambling, obviously with the intentions to not take it, but to figure out what exactly they're offering and my footing in the space. And Raquel kind of already said it earlier on about how much money in total it would have been. But just so y'all can get a baseline understanding of how much money is being handed out in the space of gambling, sports gambling, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight just so many of you all understand, not just how much I decline, but also just in a general sense, what exactly is on the table. Not really to brag and boast, but just a bit of a backstory. I'm pretty sure some of y'all remember. For the people who don't know, this is the same people I was literally like telling I don't want to do anything. I genuinely don't want any money from you all. But they were like very persistent when the idea like, no. You need to give us some money. Took the meeting, came back, gave me an offer. I said no. They were like, oh, we'll just, and this is like now in the middle of them saying, we'll give you even more money. And then they're saying, I'm trying to work with you. Again, I've already declined it, but he's still very pressy. I'm trying to work with you. I want to see a deal get done. Would you take, would the 15 to 20,000 a month range make more sense? And then again, I said it would be, but again, I'm not looking for anything right now. So, okay. So no matter how much money you wouldn't accept. And I said, yeah, I don't know what your offer will be, but it will be a no. So as you all can see, it genuinely does not matter what the offer is. I'm going to say no, and then here again the email that we kind of sent over to declining everything that's going to happen. But I just as full transparency when it comes to stuff like this, it doesn't matter if it's 40K. I think many of you all think that I was like lying about the amount of money I was saying earlier, especially when Agent and I was doing peer-to-peer. It was a lot of money that we turned down. We both turned down like a lot of money, and so. Not to say that my channel is small or my presence on is small, but at my size, a company was willing to hand over $15,000 to $20,000 a month for me. Just imagine when peer-to-peer and playback was at its heights, how much money was being thrown around at that point in time. So there is a lot of things that were on the table, a lot of things that were discussed, and yeah, Raquel said it earlier, effectively, over the course of basically a week's time, we turned down like nearly $200,000. So keeping that as transparent as I possibly can. Sorry for anybody I may have let down or anything of that nature, but my intentions were never to promote a gambling site. I was under the impression that it was not gambling, but once we did a little bit more research into it, and many of you all raised it to my attention, we did more digging and realized that, yeah, the odds were the exact same as many other sites, so there really was no difference whatsoever. It wasn't against peer-to-peer. It was quite literally against a house. So there it is right there. And then we stepped out just in time. Backed out quite literally a week before Kalshi got hit with the RICO. And yeah, and people were sitting here in my comment section saying, oh, they claim that they are supposed to reimburse, but I think they're going to manipulate the argument and say that it's against something else. I don't know. But yeah, for the people out there who were saying like, oh yeah, you really sold out, like the bag in which I just showed was more money that I was making from Kalshi, and I easily just said no to it. So It's not a hoax, not a fake. I personally just don't. I think it ruins the sport. I think it ruins the space. I think it ruins the enjoyment and the viewing experience. I think that people will get addicted. Not think people do get addicted to it, and from there it will continue to materialize into some very degenerate bullshit that I just don't want to participate in. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. That's up to you. You're a grown-ass man, grown-ass woman. You make your own decisions. Me personally, I know my audience. I know the people who watch my content. I've known this for years. I've just failed, and I just will continue to not promote gambling to people that I know are minors who watch some of my content. And also just overall, even if you are an adult, I genuinely think that it just ruins the process of watching basketball games. I genuinely believe that. And to the people who claim that, well, Stephen A. Smith, he doesn't have a claw, you can, as I just did, because many people were telling me that as well in the Stephen A. Smith video that, well, you don't know if he can just step right out of the contract, Stephen A. Smith didn't want to step out of his contract because he still wanted to make the money. That's why. But at any point, you can back out of a contract, especially if the company is facing a lawsuit. You can, without a doubt, do it. That's something that people were trying to give a pass to Stephen A. Smith. But if in my contracts, I have clauses that allow me to back out of it, I'm pretty sure Stephen A., who has full-blown lawyers that are combing over contracts, has the exact same thing. The nigga just wanted as much money as possible and was willing to still work with a company that was going through a lawsuit so he can continue to get his checks cleared. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's the difference. We're not going to sit here and make no arguments. If you want to work with the company, that's cool. But don't sit here and say that, well, you don't know the type of contracts. Nigga, we all have very similar contracts, at least in some capacity. And if my contract has outs, Stephen A. Smith's contracts have outs as well. And if they don't, that nigga needs better lawyers because it's not that difficult to put outs in contracts. It's not that difficult at all. Not that difficult at all, actually. Not even in the slightest. It's not that difficult at all.
And Lo, let me make a quick point. Everyone, we all appreciate the transparency. And let's be honest, $250,000, you turning down $250,000 is still like, that's no joke. A lot of people are selling out for much less. Let's be completely honest here. And even with the shady business practices that Kalshi is doing. So for you to, you're basically calling them out for what they are, right? So at the end of the day, I respect you for doing that. Yeah, we troll you and all, but thank you for the transparency. And I did save you from Rico case. I'm gonna let you know, that right now. I saved your ass from a Rico case.
You did. I ain't going to my own horn. We definitely.
You don't need to. We just tooted it enough for you.
Okay.
No.
Okay. We definitely turning down more than just $250,000 because those are not the only companies that come to us. So, and you know what's so crazy? I asked this question on Twitter about the whole, like, how much money are some of the sportscasters making on ESPN for them to, like, feel like they have to, like, dedicate their entire life to just doing whatever it takes to, like, be a part of, like, the industry. And I'm like, bro, I really wonder how much they are making because independently you can easily make a lot of money. So I don't understand, like, why you would even go down that path at this stage. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just what I do. But yeah. And also for people out there who want to be a part of this, if you don't mind sports gambling, have at it. There's plenty of opportunities out there. You now know what the number looks like for many people. The number can look like that, and I am nowhere near close to Gil Arena status. I am nowhere near. Oh, let me take another step forward because people out there may think that I am throwing these numbers around as a flex. I don't know how it's a flex if I'm declining the money, so there's that. And then secondly, to further,
you're doing your holier than thou flex. That's the flex.
If you think that's a flex, I guess. But the other reason why I want to do this is because there's too many people in the space that are very ignorant about what's going on. I remember a couple of months ago we had a whole back and forth about the whole Gilbert Arena situation with Underdog and, how that thing is now transpiring. A lot of things that I've said in that conversation has now come to fruition as they have allowed Gil and them to star and feature in more days out of the week because they realize that the views are going down and know they're not making enough money on the back end to justify having football shows on a basketball channel. But also there was a bunch of other people who were telling me, know your place. Who the fuck are you? You only make XYZ amount of money. Shut the fuck up. To those people, I promise you, I very much so promise you, you can make more than enough money in this space without having to hand over an entire fucking channel and also not earn no money at all. You can earn more than enough money at this size of a channel without having you give up your entire channel or half of your channel to another brand. And again, I am nowhere near close to the biggest entity in the space. There are people who have bigger channels, more views, they upload more frequently than I do, overall just get more money for brand deals and just on a view-to-view basis or even on their streaming deals. And even I, if a nigga came to me talking about how much money they will be giving to Gil, there's no way that even I would be sitting there saying like, oh, well, I guess it is what it is. It's not a Gil catching straight. It's a bunch of people in the comment section who were sitting there trying to sun me like, who are you to sit here? You have no idea what it's like. This is like a Ferrari in a Honda Civic talking. It's like, again, no shots to nobody, but I have worked with quite literally some of the biggest creators on the internet. So when y'all niggas talk about who am I, I've seen deals that some of you niggas can't even imagine. Trust me when I say it does not justify giving up 50% of your channel. There's money that's going to be given out that will be more than justifiable, especially if on the back end, the only thing these niggas is telling you that they're going to give you a bunch of camera equipment and edit your videos. The fuck is y'all talking about? Again, I get that many of you are unaware. I get that many of you all are not informed enough. And unfortunately, that is a reality that many people who are not informed speak about things that they're not informed about. And for you, that may not be detrimental to you, that may not make or break you. For you, for someone who may not invest enough in the space or investing yourself enough, that's all understandable. For the other people, though, who are trying to build, grow, and sustain, they need to be properly informed so they don't continue to make the same mistakes every single year. People make the same fucking mistakes. The same mistakes. And welcome to the lowlights. This personally is my 5th channel, the smallest one right now to date. If you niggas really think that a 50,000 subscribe channel, and I'm talking my shit as if like this is my first one and I just started uploading last year, go look up Legend of Winning, my nigga. Be serious. Let's be really fucking serious. Just because you stumbled across me because of Club 520 or wherever else, that doesn't mean that I haven't been existing on the internet for over a decade at this point. So let's be serious.
As far as the Gilbert Arenas situation, can you elaborate or explain to the people that, because there are several people who believe that, number one, maybe it is smart to, break up a percentage of the channel because I don't have to spend any money and I can try to get paid immediately, and then they'll cover this and I don't really have to use any of my individual money, right? Because what you're saying is, as far as like building a channel, right, and I'm currently trying to do that as well, but that does take a lot of internal investment, right? Take some time. Also, he has several employees that he has to pay. He has a staff, etc., etc. So what do you say to the people who want to grow, want to become creators, and if they do get the opportunity and they do have a lot of staff, how do you decide, to make that move or not?
I wouldn't give a percentage of my company or my channel and the only thing that they're providing is staff. If they're only providing things that either I personally can do or things that I can just personally buy, I wouldn't. The only way that I would give a percentage of my channel away is if they are bringing in a cash flow. That would be the only reason why. You don't need a portion of my channel for employees. That's just an expense. You don't need a portion of my channel for cameras that I can just go buy myself. I can just go buy these cameras. And the same cameras, just for people who don't know, the same cameras that they are shooting Gil's Arenas on, they shoot that football show on. The same set. It's the same set. It's probably the same employees. I've been doing this for a very long time. Them niggas will get over on you. And shout out to Joe Budden, Adeska, and Academics, because they were saying the same thing at fucking Complex. It was the same set. It was the same building. It was the same people editing for Everyday Struggle, was editing for other shows. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What these companies do, they convince you, hey, we bring XYZ, da-da-da-da-da. And then they bring in a whole bunch of overworked staff who are working on like 2 or 3 different shows. And then they bring cameras that they probably already purchased. So there's no need for it. These are all things that you can buy yourself. And the problem is that many people think that the threshold is really high, but it's not that high. For the last like year and a half, I've been streaming. I just bought my new PC, but for most of the existence of low posts and low lights, I've been streaming on $1,000 PC. Most of this shit was made off of $1,000 PC. It's not that crazy. I had another camera before this. This camera is pretty expensive with the camera and the lens, but you can get like a quality camera, and like most of the camera and lens set that people been streaming off of. If Agent isn't, he may have upgraded, but for most of Agent's streaming endeavors, he was streaming off of a $600 camera. Now you put like an expensive lens on it, but like the camera itself didn't cost that much. Y'all already know what this mic is. It's a fucking Blue Yeti. Long story short, y'all niggas already know how I give it up. At the end of the day, when it comes to content creation, self-sufficiency is like one of the most important things, if not most important. And it's important even if you're not doing it, because to be fair, I'm not going to act like at this stage in my career I'm editing everything, because I'm not. I have a team of people, I hire people. But the thing is, when people present opportunities to me in terms of the form of finding me brand deals or editing and posting and operating TikToks or whatever for me, I know what at least it should cost. I know what should be the margins that would make sense for me. And then I make that decision based off of the things I know that I can do. There's only so much that I'm going to pay a thumbnail designer because I know how to make thumbnails. There's only so much I'm going to pay an editor because I know how to edit videos. So unless it frees me up to just do even more things, that would be the margins increasing. But like outside of that, these are all things that I know how to do. So no one can just come and tell me that a staff and camera and all that stuff is going to be worth 50% of your channel. No, it's not. And then also, if that company that I just showed you that was willing to pay me $15,000 to $20,000 a month, and this is just to do normal ad reads, normal insertions, if they're willing to pay me that, how much do you think they would pay someone like Gil for the numbers that he does for all around branding? And there's times where I'm scrolling down on Twitter and they have Gil's face on an Underdog Twitter ad. So they will be paying Gil way more a month. He may not know that because he may not have ever seen the type of money that they throw around. So you can't tell me, there's no way you can tell me that I would never know how much money you would pay me for that type of sponsorship, and also just say, I'm going to take half of your revenue, and then the only thing that I'm getting out of return is probably what, $800 in cameras, probably another $1,200 in lenses, $6,000 in PCs. Every like piece of technology there, probably, let's just say $15,000. The actual house itself is that nigga's house, and then they built out some shit. I know how much it costs to build a set out in your house, because when we were doing peer-to-peer, we were looking for someone to do that as well. I could probably find the email when they sent over the renders for us to build at the house that we had that I used to live in. I know how much that shit costs, and then I know the recommendations to go find a cheaper price, not only because we were looking around, but also they did the exact same thing for the AMP house. And then I know how much they charge at the AMP house, which wasn't that much, because there's people who will pay you money to brand your house. So they effectively branded Gil's house with Underdog shit, which in a normal situation, Underdog would pay you to do that. You wouldn't pay Underdog to brand your house. Nigga, you have free branding all over here. But if you don't know any better, you will think that comes with giving up 50% of your channel. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, good thing that my audience, I looked at my demographics, 65 to 70% of my audience is 24 to 35.
They lie about their age. They lie about their age to make YouTube channels. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Bro, shut up, bro. Because when I'm running these Prize Pigs ads, I'm doing it to adults, okay? So that's what's gonna make me sleep better at night.
If you're not against gambling, then I mean, you gamble, so that's fine. I'm not a gambling person.
I actually don't gamble. I haven't gambled in months.
But you're not against it though, so if that, and that's fine. Anybody who wants to gamble, then fuck it. I mean, y'all do y'all. I'm not gonna act like when I had the opportunity to gamble and step in a I took my ass to a casino. Now I did it one time, and that was it. But I mean, if people want to go gamble money, that's their prerogative. That's what they want to do. If I'm playing spades and a nigga think he can beat me, I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna put money down to try to get some money off a nigga thinking he better than me. Like, I'm gonna do that as well, but like, sports gambling is just, it's a lot, it's everywhere. I think it ruins the experience, but that's just me though. Like, y'all niggas can do whatever the fuck y'all want to do. At the end of the day, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. If you want to smoke, smoke. You want to drink, drink. Gamble, gamble. Just do it responsibly and do it legally. I don't smoke. I don't drink. And outside of occasionally with a nigga that I know, I don't gamble. That's it. The niggas can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like on some real shit, niggas, y'all can get off whatever the fuck you want to get off. It's just not me. And I don't judge. That's another thing. Niggas like, look at you acting all high and mighty. I don't give a fuck, bro. I generally just don't care. It's just not for me. And I personally get annoyed by it when it's just shoved down my throat everywhere. But as I say that though, it also needs to be aware for people in the space to know how much money is involved. So not only as an inspiring content creator, you know what can be made, and at my size, because again, I'm not like the largest creator. There's people who have millions of subs that get millions of views every single week. But also, so you know not to get taken advantage of, because I think that is the biggest problem that's happening right now. The biggest problem is that there's a lot of people who are getting taken advantage of. The people who gamble are getting taken advantage of. The people who promote it blatantly get taken advantage of. And we know this now because Kalshi is now getting sued. And also the viewer is getting screwed as well. FanDuel should not have a monopoly on our ability to watch basketball games right now. What was it used to be, chat? Southeast Bally and all that stuff. Bally Sports. Now it's FanDuel Sports. And they have a monopoly over it. And then as soon as you buy FanDuel Sports, the package, they just immediately hit you with overlays of the over and under. Like, oh, they're like, God damn, bro, fuck. Well, okay, for niggas who are like really old, back in the day, local sports used to be for free. And then local sports sold their viewership to local networks. Local networks being like Bally, Southeast Sports. So I'll be able to watch the Braves, Hawks, et cetera, et cetera.
I remember shit like that, yeah.
Bally Sports got bought out by FanDuel. Matter of fact, when I type in Bally Sports on Google right now, that's what pops up. FanDuel Network. I typed in Bally Sports, and what pops up is FanDuel Network. If I want to watch the Braves, Hawks, and Falcons, I have to now go to FanDuel Sports Network. And, like, that's the only way for me to watch it.
And then they're going to have a banner or something that's always telling you about some...
the over and unders.
Over-unders and all that kind of stuff. And they've worked that out quite nicely for themselves.
Yep. That's just how it is, bro. And they get all the money from y'all, and they say, bet we're gonna buy out the networks, the local networks, and it's advertised from you there. And then when you go on Twitter, we're gonna advertise again. And then when you go on Instagram, we'll advertise from you then as well.